I'm going to do some narrating of this because my camera was put in a waterproof case for hazmat reasons. Who knows what could get on this camera. It's easier to wash the waterproof case off with bleach. When attempting an exploration like this, make sure to wear the proper safety shoes for walking in an area like this, and a hat, and of course a proper respirator, because you don't know what you can run into. Now, this is the side yard, and there's normally a walking path here, but as you can see, the pine trees have grown and risen the ground level. Here's the outside entry into the garage. We will explore. There's a peephole on the door there. These chemical buckets, the guy said that they were cleaning chemicals, and they've been there for over 10 years, easy. I don't know how they're going to get rid of those. So we're entering the backyard on the south side. Heavy iron sawhorses, or steel sawhorses. There's the pool equipment, pumps and filters back there. And there's me making sure that the camera is running. So here's the backyard with a sliding glass window to the master bedroom, and the first storage shed, which they have emptied out already. There's a few mattresses in there, skis and snowboard, but that has been cleared out by the cleaning people. But with 6 big full-size roll-off dumpsters of stuff being removed, and the other evidence we saw, you knew that that place was packed full of stuff. I mean, my earlier video looking over the wall, you could see it's packed full of stuff. And odd items around, like a pitchfork on one end and a sledgehammer on the other end. Doesn't work. Look through this hole in the wall there. Well, you can't see it on this side, but that used to be a pool table one day. Maybe able to be refinished. But it's packed full of stuff in here. 2 levels of it. These are just old pictures and paintings and frames, tables, glass tables. Santana's Greatest Hits 8-track tape, if anybody's interested. But this 2-story building per se is packed, and this is just a bunch of junk. It's got to be shoveled out. So here's that 2-story storage room, which they've taken a lot out, but still it's deep with books, papers, boxes, clothing, and the picture frames on the right there. And that place is thick packed, old unopened wine bottles, boxes of stuff, just tons. Whole thing packed with that. And they've taken out a lot already. Here's an old car dolly and gooseneck bed that the bunny and the stray cats look like they've been living under here. Interesting, a lot of big letters have been scattered all around. And this brand new swamp cooler. The swamp cooler is brand new. We looked inside it. All the hardware and stuff is all still packaged in its plastic wrap. So this is the pool, which a truck brought in like 3 truckloads of dirt and set it in the front yard. So they had to wheelbarrow the dirt in. And we noticed a big full-size 6-gallon fire extinguisher buried in there. You don't know what's buried in that pool along with the dirt that's there. Just dirt and junk. And who knows what big items are buried under that dirt. You can see that the dirt has settled quite a bit, because earlier photos showed that it was rounded when they first put it in there. The diving board is in the front yard now, waiting to be hauled off with trash. Those bags are landscape bark that they've had for a while. Good intentions sit in a storage unit. So the big bunny lives back under this shed. Once they take the shed down, who knows where the bunny will move to. That wasn't a record, it was a fiber grinding disc. There's a bunch of kids' toys piled in the corner there. Before these people left, there was a yard sale with a lot of kids' toys. And a lot of it sold. So this is another sliding glass window on the side yard, which originally didn't come with the house. It was installed later. Who knows if Masayo did it or other people did it. So this is the dining room area with a lot of the workers' tools. This wall right there used to have a walk-through and a pass-through into the kitchen area, which that has been closed off. We're going to enter the kitchen area. The kitchen floor is all cement. With so much stuff on it, it felt softer than the hard tile floor. This kitchen was more than nasty, just terrible. It looks good on the camera. It is horrible in real life. It had a serious stank to it. And this is where the refrigerator that they took out was. And this place was lived in. There were 2 males that stayed in here less than a month ago, were living in here. And this stuff doesn't develop right away. This has been years of neglect. The only thing good about this kitchen is the walls don't have any holes in them. Every other room, each wall has a hole in it, a foot in diameter or larger, but this floor was just thick with stuff. It was horrible. There's the closet under the stairways. And here's the entryway. Now, that door was their main door, and it always had that leak under that threshold there. So that's why they always heard me making noise and stuff. And the living room, I'd say, quite decent for a hell of a mess of a place. Not that many holes in it. The floor was fair. Every air vent had a rag stuffed into it in the house. And the floors were just full of junk and filthy. The walls, like nobody ever washed the walls, and everybody had dirty hands brushing against the walls. So this is again into the closet cabinet under the stairway, and we found a safe in there, a floor safe. And watch it, monster! No, there was really nothing in there. The bottom of it was dry rust. And there was a little box under in the rust. And who knows what that box was. It was interesting. We grabbed some tools that we found on the shelf to get that box out of there. Just curiosity. It could be the only thing that was still worth anything in the house. Nobody wanted to touch it because it was all covered with rust stuff, so we figured we'd pull it out and take a look at it. It was a smart thing to lock the safe open so a locksmith could certainly recombo it and make it a workable safe. We're working on getting that little box. It was 2.5 by 3 inches and it had a label on it. Put it next to the Jerry Lewis telethon button. My camera light was good, but there was sunlight out in the hallway, so we took it out there to see it because nobody wanted to touch it. So at looking at it, I saw a label on the top side of it that had Atari-like words on it. You know, the textiles that they would use in the Atari days. Then I noticed a seam down the side like a plastic shell sandwich. And of course on the back it was an Atari plug. So it could have been one of the best Atari games, but the water damage is way too much. Here's inside the refrigerator, the freezer section, and the refrigerator just poured out the most awful odor you could. Disgusting. Close that sucker right away. I mean, the house smelled, but that refrigerator smelled different. So here's into the garage and into the master bath, which the entry wall was just demolished, and the other wall into the bath was just demolished, and the bathtub was crappy. Each bathtub, each toilet had like that machete there, had a knife next to the toilets and next to the bathtubs. I don't know why. You can only guess, but somebody, 3 people to down to 2 people lived in this house less than a month ago. So this is the master bedroom inside. Really dirty and filthy, strange nail patterns, big nails put in a weird shape in the wall there. The roof didn't show any signs of any roof leaking, so that foam stuff that Masayo did still stayed. Of course, no smoke alarm in there at all. It's missing. And out into the garage, there are 2 storage bins under that short part of the garage. I mean, under the stairway. And there was nothing in there. And you can see on the floor here, there's like 3 marks. Well, this was the announcement for the ladies' funeral, we believe. And there were a bunch of them sitting there. And I guess that's just a storage spot. That's like their table or something. It was crazy. It was covered with dust, so it stayed there for a while. But here you can see the 3 marks where this big full-size farm tractor was stored in this garage. you'll see earlier posts on my Facebook of this full-size tractor that has been stored there over 10 years. And the master bedroom closet got converted into the garage back when Frankie lived in the garage. But this almost brand new tractor sold for $5,000 to some construction company guy that buys old stuff like this and rebuilds it. Really didn't look like it needed much rebuilding. He got a steal for it. The water heater had leak corrosion marks all over it. So I was curious, wanted to look up into the ceiling in the garage, and surprisingly there was nothing up there. Pretty clean, probably cleaner than the rest of the house, really. But had to know what was up there. I put the chair back where I got it, which don't know why I need to do that, but each doorway, each wall had just dirt on it where people would put their hands and rub against it. And this wall, even the stud was removed from this wall where the door hinge would be, and all torn up like that. I don't know why. And why is there 4 wires going into one box that only had one switch into it? I know it could light up possibly 2 lights because there's 2 different rooms there, but so this stairways, and no carpet was removed, no tiles were removed. This is how it was lived. No carpet on the stairs, and each tread that had an opening, there was stuff crammed in there, dirt and grime, so there was hardly any traction on the stairs. They weren't swept or cleaned. No carpet on these floors, and it's not like the cleaners took out the carpet. There used to be this tile stuff, which nobody did a good job, so it's peeling up, and there's stuff spilled, dripped on the wood that the floor is. So this floor can't just be carpeted over. And the walls are just filthy. You can see where it's worn. This is the upstairs bathroom, which I guess the 2 guys lived upstairs and this was their bathroom. And you can see the knife on the tub there, and every bathroom had knives in it. And it looked like that shower had a little loofah sponge and a bar of soap right by the shower head, like they still use the shower in this condition. These were some hockey trading cards from '87. Just can't believe how. And there was a light bulb to make light in that room, but knives by every toilet. I don't know if they need the knives there to cut a piece of their shirt away to use it as toilet paper, or they feel defenseless on a toilet, so a knife is there to protect them. And here's into one of the bedrooms that look west out into the street. This whole wall was redone. It didn't have the proper texture like all the rest of the walls had texture, so that wall was replaced and pretty bad tape job before it was painted over. And the floor was weak and soft there. That's why that other board is there. And the walls are just torn up. And this is the view out of the window out west. A good view of the mountains. I can see my house from here. But just horrible smell throughout the house, and it wasn't what died in the refrigerator. That was a different smell. Some pieces of a porno magazine on the ground, and the thing that amazes me in these houses in these conditions that I go through, there's enough change on the floors to pay somebody to clean the place. There was enough change that you would have got $150 worth of change. Just tons of change on the floor. Cables coming in from other rooms into this room, and just the floor is worn out. Each hole had something stuffed in it, and the word garbage written on the wall there. I'm not really sure if that's the garbage hole or what. Here's another bedroom that looks west, the second upper window west. The floor survived a bit more in here, and you can see lines where like the bed was on the floor and the dust didn't get around to it. And another table. Was in that area. You can see the dust around it. Still a bunch of junk on the floor, and the walls were just filthy dirty. I didn't touch them to see if they were tacky. Some leftover pictures. And this is the closet, and the closet for the other room, which the walls have been removed in the closet, so it's just a pass-through area. A screwdriver bit. And this is the bedroom looking out east, and you can see the walls where somebody would touch it with their dirty hands on the doorway and all that. Just filthy. So this is out the window out the backyard facing east, and the roof had a bunch of debris and stuff on it, but I could not see any roof leaks. I was surprised. It's a good view from this window. Really good view. You can see the Nellis mountain range. Black Mountain was clear and easy to see. If they didn't build that big two-story shed unit, I bet you could see a nice view of the strip from there. It was just horrible to build that. But the place was disgusting. Disgusting smell. You didn't want to touch anything. So enough of the view that everybody's seen. I figured I'd turn off the light, but then I thought better leave it on so you could see somebody walking around here at night trying to steal the copper or whatever. Checking to make sure that my camera was still running. And taking a look, make sure nobody was sneaking up on us. And that's how horrible the living conditions were in the upstairs area, where less than a month ago 2 gentlemen lived up here. Every hole in the wall had something shoved in it. Storage, junk, trash. The interesting thing is I noticed a date written on the air filter, and it was less than a month old. But it was covered with stuff. The person with me said that that's where they could have kept stuff up in there, but nobody wanted to take that air filter down and breathe the dust that would have fell off on it. So that'll be for some cleaning guy to maybe find the money, because it was thick. So we'll work our way back down the stairs. You can see this wall was just worn down. The corners were rounded. Dirt and slime and things and holes in the walls. Just filthy place. With all these supposed cleaning chemicals that they had on the side yard. Spray bottle you can easily find in that pile of mess. There was enough clothes out there they could use it for rags. Somebody could have done some cleaning. But that place was... ugh. I showered twice. Scrubbed my shoes before I brought them back inside. Now the original owner, Masayo, had this house perfect. It was the perfect Japanese garden house. And that's what the windows would see and all that. I remember as a kid, we went over here for Frankie's birthday, and just to swim in the pool, we had to shower off before we could go into her pool. Everything was all nice and clean. Now that is a Japanese thing, and of course she's Japanese, so it was excusable, but the place was perfect. But she sold it, and look what other owners have done to destroy it. Fill in the pool and cut holes in the walls. I guess that hole by the sliding glass window there was for like a swamp cooler or something. That was, of course, plumbing problems. So you just cut a hole in the wall to stop the leak, I guess, and
pretty good. I watched them.
leave it open. Whatever.
Taking the stuff that really need.
Sprinkler timer still looks functionable, but who knows where the sprinklers or valves are. Or maybe that was the pool timer.
I mean, there was a tonneau cover, a whole bed cover back here. And,
For safety, there were some things I moved close to the door. And this gate, you can see just layers of junk to keep it held up, because they would always bring their car that they were afraid the repo man would get and park it back there, or their pickup truck. But this shed was packed full of stuff, and that's one of the 6 roll-off dumpsters that went out.
It's been around here for a long time.
You can see the mounts for the diving board there, and that wall is leaning out. That wall will fall someday if not secured. You see interesting things, but it just doesn't take you long to look at them. Just want to get a name or whatever. Tons of pictures in the big piles of stuff, but no pictures of anybody that I know that lived there, or any of the house or items around there. The pictures from out of town. Just interesting stuff scattered around. So that's inside the house. Now packing it up and cleaning off my equipment.